Knowing when is the best time or a better time to reach out and contact your LinkedIn members through LinkedIn can be difficult. You're not sure, are they on the app? Do they use the app? How often do they show up on the app? And is it a waste of time for me to try to engage either through messaging or through content on LinkedIn with some LinkedIn members? Now, I'm sitting out on the patio this morning on a beautiful Sunday morning, just relaxing, and I thought, despite the air conditioning sitting out here, I'm going to make this video for you. Now, I'm going to share with you 5 ideas of how to determine if a LinkedIn member is active, and maybe even is that member on LinkedIn at this moment. That'll be the last thing I share with you, so hang tight, because that one will really help you out a lot. All right, number 1. If you're connected to that member, have you ever had any engagement through messaging there? I'm going to look at my buddy Randy Wooden. Randy's a good friend of mine. Gives me permission to show his profile and show his engagement, his activity. Look at his messaging. You can see that the last time I messaged him was not so long ago. It was April 1st. So he is fairly, from a messaging perspective, not only did I message him, but he messaged me back. So in the context of LinkedIn messaging, Randy is fairly active on LinkedIn. Here's another big one. Look at their activity on LinkedIn. How active is Randy on LinkedIn? If I look at his activity, you can see that a day ago he posted about the Clemens Farmers Market. So that means at least a day ago, on the 8th or maybe the 7th, he was on the app. 2 days ago he's on the app, 3 days ago he's on the app. So he's posting, not just on the app. And as far as comments, I can see that 19 hours ago, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. So in the context of activity, he's on the app, whether he's on a web browser or on mobile, at least look from this measurement, every day doing something. Now here's another big idea, as I can say right here with Randy. Look at their LinkedIn profile. Have they updated their LinkedIn profile recently? This is a bigger measure, maybe a more distant measure. But Randy got started at Goodwill 12 years ago, and it looks like that he got the village of Clemens as a councilman in December. That was 7 months ago, so at least 7 months ago he was on the app. Go down and look at some of the other content on here, and does he have a new certificate? Does he have any new volunteering? Look, he's on the board of delegates for the Piedmont Triad Regional Council. So he updated that at least 6 months ago. Board member for Pivot Ministry 5 months ago. So at least 5 months ago he updated that. So you can look at their LinkedIn profile and measure, have they been on the app more recently? Look, he got a recommendation from somebody on April 16th, 2024. So he was at least on the app after April 16th. This is a bigger measure, a more distant measure, but sometimes you've got to go look at that as well. All right, as my neighbor decides to go start mowing his grass Sunday morning, let me share with you what's referred to as active status. On LinkedIn, enabling active status shows 2 different things. If I go to under messaging right here, I click the 3 dots, I go to message settings. In message settings, one of the options I have is active status. If I update this, you'll see that active status allows you to show that you are currently active to no one, to only your connections, or to all LinkedIn members. Now, I chose all LinkedIn members, and I actually might want to change that to just my connections today because I'm changing my focus. So I come out of that, close this down, and go back to LinkedIn. Now let me show you what it does. You can see right here in my messaging that Kenneth has one of 2 things. First of all, let's go look at messaging and see what it does to messaging. In messaging, you can see this little icon right here. I call it the mini thumbnail. This mini thumbnail, and it actually says that this message, which was my engagement with him where I hit the thumbs up, this says that he saw that at 4:15 yesterday, on Saturday, because Saturday is when I messaged him. Now that's what the icon, the mini thumbnail icon means. If there wasn't a mini thumbnail, there may be a check mark. The check mark would indicate, in the context of this messaging, that my message to Kenneth was delivered. So in the context of messaging, active status will indicate A, the message was delivered, or B, the message was seen. That's the first thing that's a benefit with active status and messaging. The other feature of active status, let me close this down and do a search for some Garys. I'm going to do just a search for Gary. I could use any name and this would work. I'm going to go to people. All right, let me explain to you what the active status setting does in the context of overall regarding this LinkedIn member. You can see right here, they're under Gary Williams, Gary Cagle, and Gary Corns. There's a green ring, and a green ring means there's either a white or a black dot in the middle. The green ring indicates that Gary is not active on LinkedIn, but it does indicate that he has mobile notifications set on. I can see that with Kenneth right here. If I go to Kenneth, and you can see it's going to pop up and show me, there's the green ring, available on mobile. Basically what that means with the green ring is that he has the LinkedIn app installed on his mobile device, and he has the app configured to give him notifications. So he will get notified at the very least when you message him, maybe even with the app, depending upon all the notifications. He may get a notification that you mentioned him, that you commented, that you posted, etc., etc. So that is very useful in the context of active status. The green ring indicating he has LinkedIn installed on the mobile app and notifying him. The variation of this of people who have active status enabled is the green dot. Now the green dot indicates that they are on LinkedIn in the web browser, or they have LinkedIn open in a web browser that is active. It doesn't mean they're doing anything, just like you see on the top here, all these tabs I have open. They may just have LinkedIn tab open. They may not be in the tab at the moment, but it does indicate that they are on a web browser, they're active on that web browser, and they have LinkedIn open at least in one of the tabs on that web browser. That is a benefit, because maybe they are active on LinkedIn right now. Maybe they have browser notifications enabled, and so they would get a notification if you message them in that tab that they may or may not be looking at. But it is another advantage to being able to determine, is that LinkedIn member active on LinkedIn at this time? By the way, a setting on that, I think that I remember, I'll have to go do some checking to verify it. I'll put it in the comments. If you have active status enabled and the other person has active status enabled, you will see each other's status. If a LinkedIn member has active status enabled and you don't have it enabled, you will not be able to benefit from that feature. You both have to have it enabled for you both to determine, are you active? Now, my last tip for you. Do not think of LinkedIn as your primary channel for engaging your target audience, your clients, or your leads. Let me repeat. Do not consider LinkedIn as your primary channel for that activity. Rather, think of LinkedIn as one of the channels. Because when you think of LinkedIn as one of the channels, that gives you the opportunity to be more deliberate, to consider their website, if you have their email address, if you have their phone number, if you can text them, if you can message them through some other portal, maybe Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp, etc., or maybe even where you can drive down the street and knock on their door. But at the very least, some of these ideas I shared with you can help you get more value out of using LinkedIn when you're trying to determine, is the person I want to engage with active and or on LinkedIn now? I'm Teddy, your LinkedIn strategist, trainer, and coach, and I hope these ideas are useful for you.